We're on. Okay, so
All right.
after last time, you guys fended off an undead attack on the township of Tombstone, which is in the middle of the Driftwood, which is a vast expanse in the area of the world where you were stranded over our Christmas game. You were actually stranded there by a rather large dragon. When you were, let's not forget, you were there to rob a train, a government train. That didn't go very well. But you did pick one of the 7 scenarios where you all lived, which was good. Rather than all the others where, one of you or one or all of you may have died. So, in the...
Filberto kinda died.
Roberto did die. Indeed, he did die.
I mean, just mostly.
Just mostly, yes.
I'm dead inside.
Yes. So, in the days since Tombstone was attacked by the undead, you guys have generally seen the township. Fires have been put out. Certain houses that are beyond saving have been pulled down. The people in Tombstone are generally mourning their dead, but they're also panicking because, as you know, in this world, dead people don't stay that way. Eventually, they come back as they're returned, possessed by angry spirits, and they start going after all and sundry around them. All of the water trick that we used last time to melt some of these bodies hasn't worked on a lot of the bodies. So all you can assume is, especially Filberto, you assume that these guys haven't died, haven't been infected by whatever's bringing the others back, basically. You know what I mean? By whatever, they're not. So the returned aren't the same thing as the undead you've been fighting, essentially.
So we got a little bit of both.
Yeah, because the water isn't working on most of the corpses. So they're being loaded up onto a transport, onto a few wagons to go way deep into the driftwood to be buried in the Great Death Mounds out there in the wastes, so they don't bother anybody. What
Does
have you guys?
incinerating the bodies work?
No. So
Okay.
they burn, but they just become really angry, and they don't turn to ash no matter what is used. They just don't turn to ash.
So just throw them far away enough and hope they don't come back.
Yeah, I mean, if you burn all the flesh off, they're just a skeleton now. It's running around trying to fucking kill people, so it doesn't really make any difference.
It could be worse. It could be they could be like the nervous system running around, because that's
true.
Infinitely more horrifying than the skeletal system.
That's true. That's true. It's a load of veins and a load of shit. Yeah.
And then just the brain.
That's the brain.
On a bunch of spindly.
A brain just headbutting
nerves.
you constantly. All right. So, what have you guys been doing the past? We'll call it like 5 days. What have you guys been doing?
I guess I would be dissecting that that leg. I think. Sorry, was it a leg? Yeah, I think it was
Yeah,
a
it was a
leg.
leg,
Because
yeah.
I kept the leg from the previous. I'd be trying to work out what it was. I guess I'd be doing some experiments and doing more detailed tests. Now that, because I kept the leg, but I destroyed the body.
Okay. What are you looking
How
to
did
do?
the leg react to the body being destroyed?
So the body, it hasn't really done anything. It's still like wiggling around, but it seems to be a lot less. How do I say it? It's a lot less virulent in its movements than it used to be. Now it's mainly just, twitching and doing a few things here and there. Not really doing very much.
Could I try to work out what was triggering it at all? Like, was it a pathogen or was it something else?
From what
more detailed testing, basically.
So I don't know how you're gonna come across that with a leg. You're gonna have to tell me what you're doing.
Oh, I would basically see if would they have any like microscopy or some like a microscope or something.
There are microscopes, yeah.
Then I would be looking at doing. I'd be trying to look at the cells because it's still animated and it's in some sense. So I basically cut off a sample of it.
Cool.
And then analyze it under a microscope or something.
So
see if there's any biological component to it.
Dr. Brennan would let you do that. Like he would let you use his equipment if you want to have a look at it. If you look at a slice of flesh from the actual leg, it seems to be normal and dead. Not moving. Nothing's moving there, but it's not rotting away either. You don't see any bacteria in there. You see the normal, what you would normally get to see. So there's no, the normal bacteria that breaks the body down is not present. In fact, when you look into it, the normal bacteria that normally breaks a body down is dead in the
Fair enough. Could I look at? I guess this might be some recollection from my training under Order Vigilant. It's like, is there anything that might I just look up list of common causes of something like this, besides the obvious what happens when you die. If there are any common magical curses or whatever that could keep you animated.
Let's
even
do
after
a mind check, but
Fair
let's
enough.
do it with.
Since this is me trying to be big brain, would I reasonably get a big brain bonus?
Yes.
Nah, just medium brain bonus.
Yeah. So you would get a big brain bonus, indeed. Right, so, you know of a few things that can happen in the waste that will do this. Number one is obviously the returned itself. You know, it can magic can do weird things to what happens to the return. So it can break things apart, and it can meld certain things to so that the returned act in different ways. There is also the form of necromancy. Now, necromancy in this world is something that is used to manipulate the returned and how they come back and when they come back and what happens to them when they come back. From what you're seeing definite markers of dark magic. Bacteria only gets killed like this at a molecular level through these, when you can actually see it actually burning and going away. When magic is around, it's like antimatter. It just gets rid of things like that, and you actually see like this leg will eventually break down, but it's not rotting away. It's whatever spell was placed within this body is breaking the cells down bit by bit.
Gotcha. So but was it infectious? Was the question.
You don't know.
Fair enough. Would from that knowledge I would surmise whether it's infectious or not. I mean, we could have worked that out because we'd have seen some of the bodies of the townspeople that were.
You would certainly
killed in
fear
combat.
that it's infectious. Yes, you would certainly have that fear. You would be like, if this is infectious, this could be a big problem. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like if we now have returned that don't just come back, but come back at the whim of somebody, that's a big no-no. That's a big no-no.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense.
All right, so. Dr. Brennan comes in behind you, and he's just been seeing to certain people who were harmed in the fighting. He's been treating a lot of burn wounds, things like that. You can see behind him there is a little girl lying on the pallet in the operating theatre, and she got horribly burned side of her face, but it's been like calmed down with lots of sutures and things like that, and poultices. And he's shaking his head, and he just like washes his hands, and he looks really dishevelled. Is there anything you'd like to say to him or talk to him, or do you want to leave him to it?
I was just going to say, good job, Doc. If there's, and I would offer help. I guess I would be compassionate to offer help. I guess I would recall my medical or some form of medical training from my many years ago. That I go, okay, I'm just going to muck in.
I really like this. I like the fact that you guys are ruthless sadists, but you're not assholes about it. Just kind of.
Well, sometimes, being a dick isn't always the best course of action.
Okay, so
don't screw people over you don't need to.
He says, unless you have anything to deal with pain, I can't. I've done everything for her. It's up to her now, whether she pulls through or not.
Things to deal with pain, you say?
I'm sure I can knock something up, and I'll just pull out I assume I would have a bag of white powder.
You've got a ton of things that can end pain. But you also have things that aren't addictive. So it's up to you whether you want to get this girl hooked on opium or not. She looks about 9 years of age.
No, I think I'll give her something that's more like, I don't know, a mild opioid sort of thing. Really, really mild. I want to stress, not too addictive in dosage I'd be giving.
Right. Okay.
It's something to take the edge off, but nothing to. If you overdosed on it, sure, it'd be addictive. But basically, it's not addictive.
All right.
for the
So
dosage I'll be giving.
let's do another mind check to see if you can mix something. Also, do you have a skill in alchemy?
I do.
And add that to your mind check.
Okay. Oof.
Let's have a look.
That's when she becomes a drug addict.
No,
isn't
that's
it?
fine. That's fine because 4 is a success for you. So
Oh, okay, fair.
so yeah, you do make a rather staunch, clean painkiller. Sort of like a morphine, but not as addictive. So
Yeah.
it's really really high impact. So you inject her in that, and she like struggles as you do it. Do you calm her down a little, or do you just like?
Yeah, I would calm her down. I'd
Okay.
just be, like, I understand, dear. Or I understand this isn't very nice, but it'll help you feel better.
Yeah,
I will try. I just recall that fate almost a bit false. I want it to be a bit false reassurance.
you sort of look like a mannequin.
Yeah, kind of.
Not like Sheldon, like they're there.
Or it's more like I'm just too phased. I'm just not really engaged with them. I'm not connecting with them. It's just that sort of thing that like a doctor talks to a patient.
Again, like very Sheldon, but like they're there.
Yeah.
It's like pat her on the
Yeah.
back. Okay. So like So as soon as the tincture, as soon as the mixture hits her bloodstream, she immediately just falls asleep, and you know she's going to be feeling nothing from the neck down for the next couple of days. Well, nothing anywhere for the next couple of days, basically. But she's going to be okay. She's going to be fine.
Yeah. And I'll tell the doc that's just some good pain medication. That's something I learned from Valentia.
He just nods and he's appreciative and says, thank you very much. And could you leave me with some of that?
Yeah, sure.
And what is the dosage? What do I?
So I'll just list the dosage of something like you need to, I don't know, a few milliliters per volume of blood or something like that.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's a, and I'll tell him to say you give this much, it'll be addictive.
Okay.
But yeah, do not dispense this much. Otherwise, you'll be having some violent addicts on your hands.
He nods and says, as long as you keep making this, then any debt the town owes you, my friend, is paid. Trust me.
Yeah. Okay.
Or any debt you owe this town for saving you is paid. As long as you can keep giving me this.
Yeah. How's your water? I will ask. How's your water supply doing?
He scratches the back of his neck. He says, "We have a spring, 3 miles away, just up the stretch there, just 3 miles away. We've been having troubles with it lately, though. That local gang that keeps pushing in on our turf has been, well, again, I think they want to divert the stream to make new opium fields, but
Opiates, you say? Interesting.
Well, the land here is magically tarnished, but it does take poppy seeds very, very well. Poppy seeds and almost nothing else, which is why we mainly hunt for game, irradiated game, admittedly, but game at least.
Interesting. So there's quite a lot of money in these lands if somebody were to look at it correctly.
If someone were to get rid of the gatekeepers, sure. He shrugs.
Interesting. Maybe we could get some of the lads to go get some water. That might help. I don't know.
He nods and says, "Leave that with me. Leave that with me."
Yeah.
So, what has everybody else been doing? What has Sangern been doing these past couple of days?
All right. Sangern has, well, I think he's been trying to reorganize these scouts so that we can have more like regular watches. So he just doesn't want a repeat of what's happened the last time. He doesn't want zombies to end up in town. He doesn't want just try to make them more efficient and more capable, so that we don't get caught unawares. So he's been like drilling them and then trying to just get a feel for the area around them, so that we potentially, if we have to deal with the Oath Keepers, I'm more aware of what's around us.
Okay. So are you wanting to send out scouts at all?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be doing a lot of the scouting as well. Yeah, he'll be kind of leading them around and trying to see it for himself. Yeah, he wants to kind of, they have sort of a generic whoever wants to scout goes scout kind of thing. He's trying to make it a more of an actual regular thing where you have the people who are scouting, you have the people who are watching for, patrolling, so that everybody has a job and nothing gets nothing falls through the cracks and we have zombies again.
Okay. So past couple of days the scouts have not really seen anything, but you do have somebody who was scouting with you. Same guy as last time actually, and he is riding with you. And he says I'm not going to lie, we've not seen anything for days and it's just getting colder. And he looks over to the, when you guys get back, he looks over to the cart where they are filling up all of these bodies. And he says, a few more days, we've got to take them out. We've got to get them out of here.
Well, we've been around enough that, we should be able to do this safely. Hopefully.
He says, do you know how long we have to take them, normally?
No, I haven't.
About 50 miles. North. He just shrugs and points north. It's way into the wastes. It's about 50 miles that away. And then we bury them deep, like 15 feet. Normally the Blackcoats out there, they make chambers and they leave them there for us. Whenever they can, anyway. Call it the graveyard shift,
Well, it's been a bit of a crazy winter, it seems.
He's like, yep, it's going to get worse. So, will you guys want to come with us when we do that? Or are you going to stay here and lick your wounds?
I think we're ready to get out. And, the more hands, the more likely everyone comes back.
He nods and says, yeah, just remember we're going further into the waste and not out. So, things kind of get worse the more you go in.
I don't doubt it, but we're going to need every hand we can in case the Outriders come back.
He just nods and says, yeah. He just says, well, we'll leave in a day or two, maybe tomorrow. He just like wipes his brow and like looks at the town and goes, this place is fucked. Yeah, we came here because we had good grassland, but the gatekeepers, they're just after the opium. That's it.
Everybody has their needs and their weaknesses.
He nods and says, yeah. He says, but unfortunately, those weaknesses that you pay for in New Corinth and Felharrow and all those lovely cities that people keep talking about, yeah, they're starving us here. They're starving us. We either get out, or we get in on this opium thing, or I don't know. First things first. Dead bodies, the hell out of here. He says, I'll see you later. Oh, by the way, I'm doing some stew tonight. You can dig on that if you want.
Sounds good to me.
He just trots off back into town, and you're left in the center of town. So, Dennis, what have you been up to the past couple of days? What's been going on?
Oh, I would try to execute the plan of trying to find the place where the gatekeepers live and infiltrate them. We got their clothes, after all, so I can dress up as one of them, maybe follow their patrols, try to just get my way in as one of them, probably collect information so I sound more natural, in case once I do get in.
Okay. So you're just like administering to the town's defenses then? So you're just like making sure that it's shown up, essentially?
No, I try to infiltrate the gatekeepers.
Ah, right, sorry. So the gatekeepers are, they're not around, so what are you looking to do? What are
I mean, the townspeople said that they do periodic raids, that there's territorial conflict, so I would probably hang around that area dressed as one of them.
Okay, so you're gonna have to find that information out first. You can't just like walk out. We can walk out into the waste and just guess if you want, but you would need to. So where would you go in town to find out that information?
Probably the guards.
Okay, like so the
And
scouts,
the ones
yeah?
I fought beside with specifically on that night in the bar.
Sweet. So there are a few guards around, and yeah, when you approach this guy, you know his name's Robert, and he just nods and says, "How's it going?" Oh, by the way, did you give him your real name? What did you say your name was?
I was in for only a few hours after coming in. I probably only told my name to the blacksmith who hired me,
Okay.
and I would probably say Dennis because it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Here.
So,
Doesn't matter here.
I was like, "Hey, Dennis." And he's just like pouring himself a whiskey. It's the end of a long day. They've been clearing out all of the burnt rubble from the houses that have gone down, and now they're trying to turn that rubble into like a makeshift wall. So like there's a house wall sort of a thing. Not ideal, but something.
Things are going not too well considering all the Nevan destruction around. I don't know if we can hold out against another wave of those things.
He gets out a cigarette and he just like that goes. He's like, yeah. I mean, what can we do though? We have like 20 riders. No.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing I came to discuss here about.
All right,
As
shoot.
you know, the gatekeepers are very well armed, but considering they just didn't come in to obliterate this town, they either have a good defensive position they can just leave, or they also are somewhat screwed over by the zombie situation. I think I was nearly murdered by them, so I think you understand that I'm not fans of them. But I think it might be a good moment to either take them out or negotiate some sort of alliance with them, at least until the zombie thing is figured out.
He nods and is like, I mean, I don't know how well an alliance will go down, Dennis. I'm gonna say that now. They got about 40 to 50 riders, but we've got an entrenched position here, and they've not been able to take us out. If they attack in a big wave, yeah, we'll probably lose, but they'll lose just as much. So then they're just prey for the next people who come along. So I don't think an alliance will go down that well. But I don't make the decision. The town's got no leader. We're just here, surviving day by day, farming. Winter was going to be hard anyway, but now it's going to be. I'm not seeing a way out of this.
In that case, an alliance doesn't seem good either, and they clearly don't have a well-entrenched position if they consider this place with no walls and anything an entrenched position.
Yeah, I mean, they mainly live off the land. They take on caravans. Anything smaller than them, they end up taking. But the leader's one mean son of a bitch, though. I've only seen him twice, but yeah, not a big fan.
Makes sense. I will try to get in there, at least to scout out I want to try to at least get in to scout out somewhat the situation. If things go bad, I will just steal some weapons and bolt it back here.
He says, well, if you're looking to get on them, I suggest you follow their death wagon. If they see that going across the waste, they're surely going to come and have a go at it. A few of them, at least.
Death wagon?
Yeah. He
makes
points
sense.
and says, the one taking all the corpses up to the mounds.
Or do they want to steal corpses?
Well, they won't know it's corpses until they get there.
Fair enough.
He
I'll
just
go with
shrugs
the
and
death
says,
wagon.
He says, do you want me to come along?
Well, you don't know how things will go. Do you want to come along?
Yeah, that'd be good. He pops the cigarette in his mouth and goes, "Yeah, I'm in the mood for a quarrel," and then just like lights it and goes back to his whiskey.
Fair enough. So I would go with the death carriage, but follow it from a fair distance behind, probably still dressed as one of the outriders.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you can like dress yourself up as somebody from the town. That's fine. What we'll do, we're gonna leave tomorrow though, so it's not gonna be like we'll be in this session, but it's not gonna be right now. As you leave, you see Filberto coming out of the store, and he's like wringing his hands. He seems quite pleased with himself. And you see Sangern on his big. It's like a big Shire horse, and he just like trots in like slowly into the center of the town.
I'm gonna ride over to the two of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you named the horse, by the way?
Probably not. I think Sangern's used to just having the horses as he needs them.
Mhm.
I mean, how long? Well, no, we've been here. Really, I've only had the horse for about a week at this point because I've only been helping out for like this
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
So until it's become something that he's knows going to be potentially his more long term, he's not going to name it.
Mm-hmm. You have noticed since you've been on the horse is very powerful, and it has been responding very well to your input with your knees and the slightest little thing. It seems to get you. Whenever you're
It's
making
definitely like military trained, right?
Yeah, whenever you're making a riding check, let me just see on the skill list here. Whenever you're making a cavalryman check, add 3 dice.
Okay. So with I mean, Sangern being ever responsible would have been consistently taking care of it, like
Mhm.
making sure to brush it down and everything,
Mhm.
and making sure it's fed and watered
Yeah.
after every ride. But I mean that it's even before he kind of took a liking to this one, that would just be the way he
It's
is.
the thing, if you know, I don't know sure how much you know about horses, but they are weird in the fact that for some reason there'll be somebody who just walks past and they go crazy, like, oh, I really like that person, and like there's
Yeah.
no rhyme or reason to it. Like they're just like, oh, that person I want to be with that person. It's just weird. But yeah, so that's generally what's happened. Like he seems to be very, very happy to like, he tends to book other people now, or at least try, or he's at least very annoyed when he has to take other people. But hey, So do you want to say anything to the guys while you're here, or?
I'm just gonna say, I'm just be like, so we've got the wagon heading out soon before he's just gonna kind of gesture towards it. They know what's gonna happen. So we've so I was hoping we could you guys come along just because something's definitely gonna happen while we're out there. Something always does.
Yeah, I heard the same. Do you want to protect the wagon, or as soon as someone shows up, we ditch it?
I think we definitely need to get the wagon. We need to get those corpses buried, or else it's just gonna be more of these zombie hordes wandering around. The wagon's pretty full at the moment. We don't need that many more people wandering around trying to kill us.
Mm.
Anyway, I will be following the wagon from a distance. I plan to infiltrate the Outriders when they will be retreating, hopefully.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, while you're at it, you can slow them
Yeah.
down a little bit.
It's like an easy way to get caught, but we'll see.
I mean, do your best.
I guess I'm going to also just say to you both, preferably not too loudly to be in earshot, and say I suspect foul play is going on here. These bodies weren't killed. There's some magic going on here. I'm emphasizing not to say that aloud or very loudly to be overheard. We might want to be on our guard for that.
Yeah, I figure something along those lines.
As you can see, many of the bodies disintegrated, but not all. This could potentially be infectious, but I don't know if it is or not. But either way, there seems to be some foul play, and it doesn't seem to be a biological issue. It seems to be magical.
All right. Well,
magic.
Dennis, when you're infiltrating the Outriders, see if they're having as many zombie issues as us. If not, then they might know more than we do about it.
Yeah. Heard their boss is a pretty competent guy.
Yeah.
If they don't have problems, it's probably his thing.
Yeah. I might go back to. I might say, just given that it was useful so far, maybe we should grab some more distilled water. Don't you think?
Definitely.
Yeah.
definitely.
It
Can
wouldn't be a
you-
lot. It'd just be like a bottle or two. It'd just be like, and we'll say, yeah, we'll bring back more or something
How
like
much?
that. We need to.
You've been experimenting on these, right? How much
Yeah.
water is actually necessary to deter these creatures?
Well, I guess it would be any exposure to a pure substance. So it's a case of we don't need that much. So a bottle of water would be enough that you could splash it. You know, ideally you want the equivalent of a squirty bottle, but we don't have any of those out in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Well, could you jerry rig something?
I guess something close to a spray, but it would be more like I don't know. You get a bottle or a proper bottle, and you pierce holes in it. So you
Yeah,
just
I mean,
have
if you
a few droplet, you just shove it. You have a small spray rather than a large spray. So basically, you just want a few droplets to hit them,
Yeah.
or something
Could-
pure. So you want something that's like, I would just pierce I just pierce like a bottle, like a cork or something on a bottle. You just pierce it, so you only have a little bit of water come out each time.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, I mean, that's the like kind of a last ditch thing.
Yeah.
But if you can come up with some sort of more stable way of doing this, I also, if we can get some pure water, it might be worth putting some over the, the horse's legs.
Well,
Maybe it'll keep them back.
I don't think that'll work. That'll wash off. That'll wash off as they walk around. But
That's fair.
no, it's more like that they would have to be exposed to something that's in a pure substance that isn't mixed.
No, see,
Otherwise
if
impurified.
that's fair. If you can find anything else that'll that could work for that, besides
Yeah, the issue is finding something that's very clean in this wasteland is going to be really bloody hard.
Yeah.
So we found something that just about works. Let's run with that. If we can find something better, use that. Like, actually, I know
Ferrite did something, right?
Yeah, I was going to say ferrite. If we can ask the doc for any ferrite,
could
but
we?
might not have the effect.
I
Do we-
would probably
do we
remind
have-
Gilberto of my chain. I have like 14 meters of ferrite chain wrapped around me.
But
Okay,
we
fair enough.
we can't really work with it, right? We can't.
No.
Like you have
Well,
the
but
chain
that's
and you
nothing.
can use it.
I am going
Yeah, I
to
can just
I'm going to
flip
point
it.
out to you, Dennis, to say I am going to point out that the undead seem to react very, very negatively to ferrite.
Like
In what way?
aggressively
What do
or
they do?
running.
Aggressively too.
Then that seems like a shitty idea to actually touch them
However,
with it.
I am going to say that, and I'm going to disclose this quietly. They seem to be very calmed by my presence.
What does that mean?
Well,
I'm gonna kind of wait. I like just knowing the kind of bullshit that ends up going on with you
Yeah.
guys. I'm going to lead you outside, like further away from people, so we can talk.
I'm going to take you to the I'm going to take you to the doctors. I'm going to take you to the doctors, and say, I'll gesture to the doctor and say, do you mind if I have the room? I need to inspect the sample, and so I will just go and demonstrate with the kicking leg that's still kicking around, and just put my arm. I'll just touch it, barehanded, and I assume it'll go limp.
But you.
So it does calm down, yes.
Yeah,
It,
so
it,
I will
it,
just.
it does definitely.
I'm just going to demonstrate that because I didn't want the doctor to see that because I think he saw it, but I think he'd be too panic stricken to work out that that's
Really,
what's going on.
To really have a clear picture of what happened.
Because he was being throttled to death.
Yeah.
Sandgren is
see
just gonna
and
shake
say-
his head and be like, "We'll deal with that later."
Yeah.
All right, we'll deal with that later.
Okay.
So,
Real quick.
we're gonna have to undergo some sort of inspection when we're back home.
I understand.
Because if we learned anything from reviving people from the nice lady in the well,
Yeah.
it's that you might not be in the most stable state for a while.
I mean,
we don't know that he died. We just know he got.
The only thing you know is that he has a calming effect on these things.
Yeah.
I didn't fully. I haven't fully disclosed to you the nature of my condition. I just said there's something a bit suspicious going on. The doctor thinks.
I mean, wouldn't we figure it out figure out, considering vampires sense like blood of the living, and he like also good hearing from Dennis, and he hears no heartbeat.
If you think to check,
Yeah, we'd have to have a reason to actually
I
pay
mean-
attention to him, because we're not like going around to every single person we see and like your heart's beating. Cool. Next,
We
your heart's beating.
certainly have a reason now.
Okay,
I would say that. I would say that is a reason to check. You'd be like,
That's fair.
okay,
With
you-
more zombies running around.
Yeah, well, you're not checking if he's undead. You're checking to say, oh, you've got this effect on them. Oh, well, let me see. What's going on.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah.
if you
we have a pretty good reason.
let's say that whoever wants to do it, you can rouse the blood and you can actually start to look around. That's fine. Let's say that you're
Wouldn't I
doing it
just-
to look at the leg, but you notice you will see if you will do it that way. You're looking at the leg to see if you can see anything about it vampirically, and then we'll do a
Yeah,
perception check
I think
to see if you-
Sangern will do it. Just because he wants to see if he can have a way to hopefully have an earlier sort of notice when these things are coming.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna do. It's a devil-blooded roll, right?
Yes.
So I can add my devil blood.
Yes.
Okay. I need 3 successes.
If we go on wound
No.
sensing, could be a better way of doing it. So,
Either way, I need 3 successes.
yes, and you got him, did you not?
No, I did not.
No, you did not. Okay.
Nope. One.
Okay.
What?
So let's go to. So you notice that this Sangun, you notice that this leg definitely isn't alive, but you don't notice anything from Sangun. From Filberto at all. Like you're not even looking at him. You're looking at the leg.
Yeah.
In fact,
It
Filberto
wouldn't even occur to me.
slightly further away when he knows you're inspecting that thing. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna go over here.
I'm just gonna take a couple steps back.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read the room a little.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna ask. Did any of my weapons or anything survive?
As far as
Did
you know, nothing survived the dragon ambush.
I was just hoping I still had my silver dagger, but I didn't. I wasn't hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't that hopeful.
So, what would you like to do in terms of Dennis? In terms of what we are doing here?
I mean, Dennis's thing is that he is partly blind, so I think it would be legitimate for him to be able to hear if Filberto's heart is beating if the room is relatively quiet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Make a perception check. And it'll be mind and perception.
Filiberto should make an opposing roll to make a heartbeat sound like boom,
Yeah, just like tap his own chest, like.
or just very quietly tap the floorboard.
How did the vampire rouse the blood work again?
So we treat it as you are doing a wound sensing, essentially. So, let me just. Which vampiric clan were you, by the way? Did you pick one from this?
It was the pirate one, the one that gives damage back when it's
Galarian, right? Okay. So, So, vampiric wound sensing. You need 3 successes on a mind check. So to do a mind check, 3 successes, and you can start to.
Yeah, I have meant rouse the blood because it works somewhat differently. That you first do a mind check, and then you add the dice, or do you just add the 2 dice again?
So we're gonna do the aroused blood check, which is a D3, which is 3. Sorry, so do 3. Try and get 3 successes, and that is on your highest core stat. So go on your highest core stat.
Okay,
it's on
the
our highest core
would
stat? I
be
thought it was mine.
strength.
Mind is for wound sensing. So we're gonna be doing on that.
Okay.
As well.
Oh, okay.
And the devil blood counted also to the vampire rouse the blood thing, right?
Yes.
So that would be.
Remember,
8d6.
any failures at this, we're adding stress. Remember. So.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've taken stress away the session because you didn't have enough time. Because we went from here to there. There's not really anything to do here.
But
So.
Well, surely our 5 days of killing at 5 days was relatively low stress.
Relatively.
Oh yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
Okay, so you're looking at this.
No,
like this leg, and you know when you notice silence, you get that feeling where you just notice silence. You're like, what the fuck's going on? And you turn around, then Sangern, vampires in this are still alive. They're not undead, right? They're just suffering from a disease. So when you look to Sangern, you can see, okay, there's a slow heartbeat there because, vampires, their metabolisms are very, very, very slow. So he's his heart's barely beating. It's like 7 beats a minute. Do you know what I mean? It's like boo, boo. He's just not really doing it. But then you look over to Filberto, and there's nothing there at all. So unless he's taken something where he can mask like his bodily functions from you, which is a thing, it can happen. Unless he's taken something to mask himself from you, he shouldn't be alive right now.
Okay, so I walk up to Filberto and ask, can I check something quickly? Could you hold out your hand?
Okay, I hold out my hand.
So I gently just bite his finger to taste the blood, because I think I would be able to then tell the difference if corpse or not.
Okay. So
I'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I will try to rip my arm away.
Okay, so let's do an opposing roll. So let's do a swiftness roll, because you want to get down there to get to taste his blood, and you want to pull your arm away. So let's do an opposing swiftness roll. But if you do a swiftness roll, and we'll see.
Oh shit!
No, well, it's gonna have to be one success.
Wow, that's a swing.
The same result.
I think we're gonna need a re-roll. Both of you do a re-roll again.
That is very, very.
Okay, Filberto, not very good. There you go.
Nope,
so
that's it.
So Dennis manages to. You try and yank your arm away, but he manages to he goes, oh fuck it, and he just bites your finger. It's more painful than it should be because you were trying to pull your arm away. Dennis, this doesn't taste good at all. This tastes awful. Whatever's going on with his body, it's not great. You're not getting anything from this. You're not getting any sustenance from his blood at all.
So, Sangern, our friend here is dead. And I would probably at this point try to restrain Filberto.
Okay. So, Sangern, you notice this going on, like Dennis starts moving towards Filberto. What do you want to do?
I think he's kind of been inspecting the leg up for the whole bite thing. When there's the bite and the commotion, he'll kind of turn around like, what are you two doing now? And then when he says that, and just kind of pause and then really focus on Filiberto.
Okay, so I'm not going to make you roll for it because you're not trying to notice. You're actually doing it now. And you notice the same thing. Unless he's masking his bodily functions from you, you shouldn't be alive right now. And again, you do know there are ways to mask your bodily functions from people. But it depends what you want to do.
I imagine there's some of the distilled water in our immediate vicinity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I just splash some a little bit at him?
Yeah, sure. So you take it. It just splashes against your face, Filberto, and you're just like, what the? And
Yeah, just be like, I think I will understand what you're doing there.
Yeah.
But I'll just be like, yeah, and.
Yeah, you're wiping everything away, just like.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop Dennis from restraining you, and I don't know that you can stop Dennis from restraining you.
I mean,
I'm just gonna say.
I guess I'm just accepting it.
Dennis, it depends. Filberto, it depends what you want to do. You always, in every single session, so I'm not going to say you don't have them now, but in every single session you mention you've got darts of almost every single kind on your body, right?
Yeah.
From tranquilizer darts to everything like that. You've at least got one of every single thing, and you know where they are.
Yeah.
Are you going to try and do anything with Dennis as he's coming in to try and stop him from restraining you, or just want to let it happen? Because you're not going to beat him in a test of strength.
I'm just gonna. I think I get what he's worried about, and so I'm gonna just roll with it.
Okay, just gonna go.
I'll just roll with it.
All right, fine.
Hold him, Dennis, but let's not get too rash. Filiberto, care to explain?
Yeah, what are you?
I must say,
you were definitely alive.
Yeah.
The other day.
So, since the doc isn't here, His prognosis is that I should be dead.
We can see
and
that.
you can see that, as you can tell.
You should not be
I
dead.
will be
You are
honest.
dead.
I will be honest and say I don't know what this is. This isn't something I know about. I would need to get access to some particularly niche arcana that I just cannot find anywhere outside of the Valentian University
Could
to be
you?
even able to tell you what this could be.
How did you tell that the leg was being affected by magic rather than some sort of disease or something?
Biological testing.
Yeah. Could you do that on yourself?
Yes, that would be. Yeah, I could reasonably do that. I basically originally I looked at the cells in the leg, in a sample of the leg, and it seemed to be that any of the natural degenerating the natural degenerating microbes in the leg had all been wiped clean. It's as if it was not possible for that leg to decay, but it was seeming to disassemble itself. So yeah, by all means, I could definitely take a look at that. Take a look at a
Let us-
sample of myself. But it does seem that clearly some parts of me still exist. You know, clearly that water trick didn't work.
Yeah, the water trick proves that you're at least something different.
Yeah.
Dennis,
Let's
can you
hope
check
you're not.
your? Dennis,
I'll
can you
just
check
put-
your chains?
Okay,
So,
I'll grab
I told
the-
my ferrite chains to Fulberto to see if he reacts to that, considering he said the monsters react to that.
There's nothing. No.
I'll grab. Can I grab the chain just
Yeah,
to
sure.
prove?
Yeah, you can grab it. Yeah, there's nothing happens. It's cold to the touch, but nothing happens.
Fair enough.
Wait, wasn't the chain warm?
No.
Like always slightly warm?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but he's dead. So,
No, it feels cold.
yeah,
I feel nothing to
everything
it.
feels cold to him. He just it just feels cold.
Okay, fair enough. We'll figure that out once we're back home. Let's hope you don't freak out like the lady in the well.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
resurrected don't certainly have a good reputation.
I am going to point out to you.
Yeah.
I am going to point out to you, Dennis, and say if I was infected with something that could be potentially toxic and potentially fatal or infectious, why the hell would you want to bite that and inject that into your own bloodstream?
We're
Maybe it
vampires.
doesn't work on vampires.
Yeah,
Who cares
I am.
at this point?
I'm still going to point. I would be well familiar enough with vampirism to go. Surely, don't even vampires respect
So,
the fact of
If Dennis
vampires
drank
err
from
away
you,
from something that's ill.
if Dennis drank from you and you had a magical disease, he could
Yeah.
very well catch it. Yes.
Yeah, but what about physical illness as well? Could he not pick those
Physical
up
in it,
as
he
well?
will get a very mild version of it. Yes, but of
Fair.
anything that is, this is not a normal disease. I think you can
Yeah,
I think
like,
unless you've got hepatosyphil herpinates, I think we're probably good. But or magical syphilis. But I think all right. So first things first. Try to run some of these tests.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can keep an eye on you. I'd also like you to check if silver has any effect on these creatures. If you can find some silver flakes, I'm gonna see if I can't rustle up some better weapons in case we come across them or the Outriders.
Yeah. I was going to say, Dennis, your ferrite is not irradiated, yes?
Like, hell would I know?
It doesn't seem like it seems like normal.
Does it
ferrite.
feel like it's warm to the touch?
Yes.
Would it normally seem like it's warm to
Yes.
the touch?
Yes. Normally.
Okay, so it's not any more irradiated. Like it's not likely to be horrifically irradiated.
No.
Then.
He also got his not in the waste.
Yeah. So it's a case of I want to cut a sample off that leg, and I want to see how it responds to your chains.
Sure.
We tested it when it was irradiated. The doc had some samples, but they're irradiated.
I'm
I
gonna
want to
just
test
kind
it
of.
against pure. I want to test it against a stable ferrite source.
Would there be like silver flakes that he could test before Sangern heads out as well? Like kind of like nitrate water, silver nitrate water.
Yeah, you can do. It'd be easy enough as long as he lets you do it. And you could,
Well,
you could
I
definitely
mean, I just want to test against the leg because if silver works against these creatures, Sangern's gonna while he's kind of getting everybody ready for this run to go bury these bodies, see what he can find silver-wise. Even if it's just like enough to like a silver plate that he could, have the forge melt down and maybe edge some of the weapons, some of the the axe he's been using or something, and maybe a couple other blades, so that when it comes down to it, when we're out there, we have an edge against them.
Okay.
No pun intended.
I might ask the doc if he's got any colloidal silver pills or something like that. I think it's that sort of silver that you could have as a medicinal hurt. It's like a medicinal pill.
Yeah.
Like an ancient medicine or whatever sort of thing. You might have the pill form, but you might not have...
Yeah, I mean, they were using silver nitrate for stuff well into the 1800s.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could definitely do that if you wanted to do that. Just for like field testing and just having a look and seeing if it reacts to different things.
And also, I'm going to take one. I want to have one of those silver pills. I guess just as a measure of goodwill to you all, to demonstrate, and see what happens to that as well. To see how I respond to being exposed to silver.
You just die.
Yeah.
Vampires, I'm sure silver will work on you badly.
Kaboom.
So weirdly, your body doesn't really react at all. Like you swallow this thing and nothing really happens. You also don't really like digest it, so it just like stays in there, just doesn't really do anything.
Interesting.
All right. So are you guys willing to... Are you wanting to move on to the morning, or do you want to keep on doing stuff tonight?
Well, I mean, he wants to check, like, if that silver works, he does want to see if he can find any kind of silver stuff, like I was saying, to try to, augment their weapons, even if it's just like somebody's got a piece of silverware that we can use, to potentially make... we just have better our chances in case we run into a horde.
If silver doesn't do anything to Filberto, and you're thinking that they're kind of the same, and nothing's happened to him when he's literally ingested some,
did we test it on the leg?
Yeah, nothing happens to the leg.
Nothing happens to the leg?
No.
Oh, okay. Then never mind. I'm not worried about the silver. That's why I didn't hear that we'd actually tested it on the leg, just Filberto.
Yeah. So, I'm guessing Filberto's like quite happy with the situation, because he doesn't need to go to sleep. He can just work all night, and his body doesn't slow him down. Like most scientists say, that my body is this inconvenient thing that carries around my mind. And now all Filberto is a walking mind, essentially.
Yeah.
So we can skip.
I might keep Dennis a bit. I wanted to do the experiment with pure ferrite or pure non-irradiated ferrite to see what happens to that leg.
Okay. Okay. So what are you trying to do with it? Are you trying to
Basically, I want to cut off a slice of skin or something, and see and probably sit with a microscope, seeing what happens to the cells as I bring ferrite close to it.
Okay. So when you do this, the cells begin to sort of not melt away, but at least get repulsed. They don't seem to be anywhere near it. And when you if you forcibly touch the cells or the tissue to the ferrite, it does start to melt away. Like quite succinctly, yeah. It starts to melt away.
Fair enough. I'm going to look at Dennis and be like, this seems to repel them. Ferrite might be the thing we need.
Sounds great, and he rolls the chains around his fist. Maybe he'll get a mace and roll the chain around the mace. So back to the blacksmith shop.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering for if is it one big chain, or did you have a few different chains? Because
one big chain.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, because we don't really have the equipment to. I mean, Do you need special equipment to forge ferrite?
Yes, you do. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Ferrite is a mineral that's only found way out on the driftwood. Um, in the wars between the Duskfall Empire and the Dominion are actually called the Ferrite Wars because there is a new, there was an island discovered that had tons of ferrite underneath the surface, and there was a war fought over it, essentially. That is now in Dominion possession, but the very reason why there's another Great War on the way, or at least there will be, looks like there's going to be in the next 10 years, there's going to be a war, is because the Duskfall Empire needs ferrite, and they pay an absolute premium for this stuff. So the Blackcoats mine it with the prisoners and slaves, way out in the boonies, way out in the driftwood, and they bring it back to the Dominion as part of the. So the death train goes out with bodies and comes back with ferrite. That's essentially what happens.
Oh. I want to come back with ferrite.
So
Ferrite gauntlets would be sick.
we can actually skip ahead to the next morning if you guys wish. If you guys are happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
I'm just gonna be scrounging up weapons and getting the townsfolk ready to ride.
If we're doing that, I'll give you a quick 5-minute break so you can go get yourselves drinks or something, and we'll be right back. We'll be
Fair enough.
Cool.
back in a sec.
Back in a bit.
Alrighty. Back again.
Alright.
Hello. Hello.
Alright.
So we'll wait till Dennis is back. I think he's... Oh, here he is.
Okay, back.
So the next morning, the troop sets out. So we have about 10 riders, including you guys. So we have 7 riders plus you. 10 are staying behind to just look after the town. You're taking Robert with you, who is sticking near Dennis, because him and Dennis seem to get along.
No. Instead, I'm gonna ride somewhat far away so I can.
Are you going to do it
If we get
straight
attacked-
away, though? Because you're not going to get
I
anywhere
mean,
near
I
them.
don't know when we will get attacked.
Okay.
Just
So
keep my distance for now.
and Carver, who is the other, the man who's been scouting with Sanguine, he rides near us, Sanguine, just to make sure that you guys know where you're going and what the hell's going on. So it takes, I'm gonna say, it takes like a full day to get the way into the wastes. So you start to leave the township behind now. And behind you, there is the rattling cart is there, and you can already hear the ropes around one of the corpses are being like stretched because the corpse is waking up, sort of a thing. It's not going to get out, but it's it's struggling. It's quite a morose feeling, going across the waste with a load of bodies that you're gonna ditch. Off into the distance, you can see several mountain ranges. Well, one mountain range with several peaks. That's just arching off into the distance. The trees here are threadbare. There is snow falling pretty heavily. This is a part of the world that flash freezes in the winter and boils in the summer. So this is, and you can see far, far, far to the north, there is a lightning storm going on with sort of sickly purple lightning arcing across the sky. What would you guys like to do? Are you looking to do so? You've noticed that Dennis has fallen back like, a couple, like 100 or so meters. So
He did let us know that he was gonna try to infiltrate.
yeah. So are you looking to like call out to him, or are you just gonna let him?
I'm just let him do his thing. He'll he doesn't want to be out here any longer than we do, and we do know that anytime someone tries to kill him, he tends to go nuclear. So
Yeah.
worst case scenario, he just massacres a bunch of them.
Okay. So not long after the first day is over, you guys make encampment. You make camp at it looks like it's an outcropping of rock with a few trees that somehow have some leaves still attached to them. And they start clearing away the snow, and they make a fire, and everyone starts to like pattern down, and the watches are set by Robert. Like, he actually sets the watches, so he gets in and says, right, okay, you two take first watch, and Filberto and Sanguine, you guys have got the third watch, which is like, near the middle of the night, but you're still going to get a little bit of sleep before then if you want. Dennis, are you rejoining everybody for the end of the day, or are you just going to stay out there?
Honestly, for the night, it seems better to join them because it's either that or laying myself out for ambush or not sleeping all night.
Yeah, so you're going to go in and take off your wanton disguise.
Yeah.
No, Filberto, you don't need sleep. You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
You're generally just going to be left alone to do what the hell you want.
Fair enough.
You can pretend to sleep, but it's going to be really boring if you just lie there.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll just, I will sit there and, I don't know, with a book in hand or something, just daydream.
Yeah, I
Daydream
mean,
of
for
different-
one night, no one's going to take any.
Yeah.
No one's going to take any. Yeah, I mean, Sanguine, you can roleplay that if you want to ask him.
No, I mean, Sangern would trust himself to keep watch better than Filberto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Dennis would probably tell him to at least read the book under his bed sheets. Like, pretend to be asleep, you undead.
Yeah, I might stay up for the first watch and chat to one of the guards or whatever. Just chew the fat about any locals and any like. I'd basically just ask about the area, sort of thing. Nothing too insightful. Just chew the fat and just say I don't sleep very well in hostile country.
Okay, so you're just spreading that narrative that you're just like you don't sleep very well in the bush.
I'm a light sleeper. Yeah, I'm a light sleeper in the bush. So I'll just sleep a few hours.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah, like that was a funny joke for everyone. Anyway, just so yeah, you can stay up all night. It's fine, and you can read the book, and no one's gonna bat an eyelid, even if you don't sleep for a couple of days, as long as you give them reason why, essentially. So everyone wakes up and they're all bleary-eyed in the morning, but Filberto's there, raring to go, obviously, because he doesn't need sleep and he doesn't need rest, and he just can't wait to get going.
I'm gonna fake being a bit slow to start. I'm not gonna be raring to go. I'll fake the. Yeah, I feel like crap. I'm just gonna give the impression that I've been a light sleeper, but a bit sleep deprived.
Okay, that's all good. So you guys head out the next day, and obviously Dennis hangs behind in the camp as you guys all move off, and then eventually trots out with his little nag, his little horse, following you all. Let's do some. So there are a few people talking and they're a bit more upbeat now. They've had a night on the trail, and the town's far behind you. You're about 25 miles into your trip, so you've got another day ahead of you, and you've been making really good time. You've been plodding along. The wagon behind you is speeding along quite well, and eventually you guys. I would like you all to do. Let's see. In fact, Dennis, do a perception roll for me. Mind and perception.
3 successes. 1 fail.
So you can see in front of the crew and to the northeast, you can see what looks like a shadow on the horizon that looks to be just wavering backwards and forwards at the moment. It looks like something that's going up and down. That shadows are going up and down very quickly on the horizon, very very far horizon.
Does it? That sounds not good. I probably do a really loud whistle and start riding really quickly in the opposite direction.
Okay. So you all hear that whistle, and you turn around to see Dennis just booking it in the opposite direction. What are you guys going to do? He's obviously seen something that spooked him.
Well, he tends to run away from... generally, he doesn't tend to run towards danger. So I'm going to look in the direction he's going away from.
All right, so you see it as well. So you see... In fact, you're a bit closer, so you can see these are riders. There's about 10 to 15 riders who are bearing down on you. And they look pretty mean. They look like they're in good leather armor, and they're all armed with rifles, and some of them got one seems to have a shotgun. They'll be on you in say 30 seconds, I would say.
I'm gonna shout that I'm gonna shout to form up because like I said, I've been trying to get these guys to be a bit better trained.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're gonna use the wagon as cover.
Mm-hmm.
And basically try to pick off as many of them as they're coming we can. And I know we've got a few hunting rifles.
Yeah.
We've got at least like 4 or 5 hunting rifles.
Yeah. You're all armed with. I would say you're definitely armed with a hunting rifle. Filberto, you would have a hunting rifle as well. There wouldn't be. So I'm gonna fire for the guys who are with you.
What do I roll for hunting rifles? Because I don't have any skill in guns. It's mostly just I don't want to shoot our people.
So if you, you're not really going to do that. So if you are shooting and you don't have any skill in a weapon, I think you just roll 1d6. Let me have a little look. Combat.
I thought it was still the associated stat. But hold on.
Making an attack. Okay, so roll your core and skill with any successes being regarded as hits. So
Okay. It's mine.
It's mine. So whatever you have in mind, roll that.
I think isn't it +2 in general for making attacks as well?
Yes. There you go.
All right.
What are we,
I just can't remember if
what
it
are
was
we
mine.
seeing? Just sorry, I didn't catch that.
Outriders coming at us.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna load incendiary.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
That's not gonna go poorly. But like before you guys act, your other guys who are with you, they let out a fierce volley of fire that knocks one of these guys straight from the saddle as they're coming in. Looks to be about 14 of them left. Dennis, you can hear the gunfire behind you now just ring out. So if you turn around, you can see that they're riders. There wasn't a monster or anything.
Okay.
These are
Is the
riders.
question: is there some sort of hill or pile of snow? Because at this point he can't just ride back because he's not a ranged fighter. So I was thinking if there is some sort of something that would obscure my view if I turned behind and tried to circle around and ride into the side of the outriders.
Sure, you can try and do that. And let's do a swiftness and a horsemanship. And those are the two you're going to be rolling on. Swiftness and horsemanship.
Neither of which am I good at.
So I should add 3 to horsemanship on this horse, right?
Yeah, I just on
Just
that
so I
horse.
remember.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got something.
Yeah, so you actually manage to thunder around. So the charge is going to come in, and you'll be right at the back of it. Basically, you'll be following them in about a couple of seconds later. So they may see you and be like, "What the fuck?" Or they may just be like too enamored with the fight and be in there.
I mean, I am dressed like them.
You are dressed like them, yes.
Can I kind of spot if there's a boss here? Like, who's the boss?
Not right now. No, you're too focused. Now, this will take all of your focus to get there. Because you are way behind at the moment. To get there in the speed that you want, it's going to have to be what you're doing. You can't do anything else.
Okay, so I'm gonna for now just try to get close up, and I guess he would be somewhere middle in of the formation. So I'm gonna aim for the middle.
Okay, so we'll leave you for the next 2 or 3 turns to do that. Because that's literally what you're doing. It's going to take you a while to get back, and it's going to take all of your focus to make sure it happens. So, Filberto, you load incendiary into your pack. So what are you going to do?
I will shoot.
Okay. So, you see Sangun shoot, and he knocks one person from the saddle because that person already took a bullet before. So there's 13 left. And Filberto, you also knock somebody from the saddle, but his chest explodes into a gout of flame. Roll me.
I was almost going to say what you want is it's more something it slowly catches fire, so he gets knocked off, but then he just starts
here we go.
burning.
So roll me a d6. Let's see if it spreads anywhere. No. So it just explodes on his chest and knocks him straight out of the saddle, and his chest sort of like caves in the explosion as he falls backwards.
Nice.
So we have 12 of these guys left. They're coming in. They're going to return fire, and these guys are going to be...
We do have at least partial cover, right? Because
yes, you do.
did form up on them.
Yes, you do. So one of your guys definitely goes down. He's hit. 2 of your guys go down, and one shot goes in on. It'll be D6. D6. 1, 2, 3 goes in on Sangun. 4, 5, 6 Filberto. So one shot hits Filberto right in the shoulder. So Filberto, you do have a cover, don't you? You have a cover. So let us go into, and I'm actually going to call it soft cover, like light cover, because you're not. You did reach up to fire. You know, it wasn't like So the armor negation of this shot would be -3. So how much armor do you have on you at the moment? Oh, you're in new armor, aren't you?
I'd still be wearing my Blackcoat armor.
Yes, you would.
Yeah,
I
would have been wearing that at the time. So
yeah.
Were we wearing our black coats when we attacked the train?
Just walking around in our black coats for a week.
I thought we swapped out of our black coat armor when we were attacking the train.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
Oh yeah, we're in leather. We're in leather.
Yeah, you're in normal leather armor. Yeah, so you're in light armor. So all of that armor negation, that armor negation goes away, and so it's basically evened out. So there's no extra, and you will take 6 damage from that.
All right.
It just slams into your shoulder and knocks you backwards a little bit.
Does it over penetrate?
No.
Out the other side.
No, it's still in there, but weirdly you don't feel a thing.
Fair enough.
Like I said, he's already dead. He ain't bothered.
Yeah.
So, your guys are gonna fire back at them.
I'll roll as well then, yeah.
Yeah, you can do. Oh, not good shooting that time. They take 1 guy from the saddle, but that's it. And Sangoon, you don't do anything. You're just like firing. You're thinking, oh my god, please get closer so I can hit you with my fucking axe already.
Right.
Yeah, so
like literally that's what Sangard's saying. Like, he's not actually like, it's nice if he gets anybody, but he doesn't expect it.
Yeah. So I would say 1 more person's knocked from the saddle. So you have about that 10 riders left bearing down on you. 11 now, because a mysterious rider has turned up behind them. And after the next turn, we're going to be in close combat, where they're going to be right on top of you. So, Filberto, do you want to fire again?
Okay.
Be very careful. Try and get a good roll, or you may hit the wrong rider, so to speak.
I mean, I'm still behind them, right?
Shot.
I mean, you're right behind them, and it's a bullet coming at you, so it's not as if it's an arrow or something that's not going to reach you. Oh, that's a really good roll.
We did know. I mean, we could all see him coming around to join them. We all knew he was planning on doing that.
I mean, true, but also, firing and, sometimes you miss. But Filberto does not miss, and 2 more riders go careening into the afternoon sky, a burst of flame. So roll 2d6, please. See where that fire goes. Oh shit! Okay, so the fire starts spreading towards other riders. So it explodes outwards, and other riders are like patting themselves, trying to get things out again, and trying to get things away. But in the end, the actual rider, they start to wheel and turn and ride away. They're trying to get away. So, Dennis, are you following these riders, or are you staying with your group?
Well, they're retreating, right?
Yeah, they're retreating. Yeah.
Can I by now spot which one the boss is?
You're pretty sure it's the one leading the retreat. He basically just like did a circular motion with his hand. I know everyone's riding away.
Would I be able to ride up and just like attack him out of surprise?
Not without being seen, no.
Well, they think I'm just one of them retreating, so they would just think I'm trying to bolt it really quickly.
I don't know how you would. I don't think you can speak for the other NPCs.
You would likely also be in the center of his formation. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not seeing a way you can attack the leader of this raiding party in the middle of his men without people going, "Who the fuck's this guy?" Because I can't see that happening. No.
I mean, once I attack, they of course will know it's me. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to try and kill him, or are you wanting to take his place? Is what I'm saying, or do you want to like?
I mean, is this the leader, or is it just a leader? Is the question, If you just take out the random dude who's in charge of this particular group, at the cost of you getting your ass shot to pieces.
Yeah, and probably.
I mean, they're already routing and escaping.
They're running away.
I thought you were heading back to their camp with them to try to infiltrate.
Sense, I guess I just go with them in that case.
Okay, so you're just riding off into the sunset with them, mission accomplished, sort of thing. That's good. Okay.
Sangern's going to try to collect the horses of the fallen outriders.
Okay.
And have Filiberto try to, patch up the couple of guys who got taken.
Yeah.
I mean, did they die or did they get injured?
Okay.
I was going to lash the bodies to the cart as well.
Well, did they die or did they get? Did they actually die or did they just go down?
Filiberto, if you're trying to heal them, please do a intelligence, so be a mind, and let's do alchemy again.
Okay, add 2 to that. So.
And you can use big brain.
Big brain.
All right, that's more dice.
Don't fuck this up.
To be fair, I did really well to start with, and it's just got
Okay,
progressively worse.
so you managed to
I
save
saw a lot of successes.
of the 3 guys who went down. You managed to save the lives of 2. One of them is definitely dead. He took one in the eye, so he's no tincture's going to sort that out.
No.
I mean,
But 2
I'll let
more.
the Filiberto. Just
Yeah.
saying.
No.
2 more, you're able to get the bullet out, staunch the bleeding by just burning the shit out of it, and then you just and then you're like, here, have some nice, have some morphine, get in the back of the truck.
No.
So so the dead body is added to the bodies who are already 3 of them now starting to squirm in the back. 2 of them are now he is now trussed and thrown in the back. And
Can we sprinkle a bit of this? I imagine we did bring distilled water with us for this.
yes,
Yeah, I'll sprinkle some distilled water on them.
nothing happens. So these are normal. These haven't been infected by anything that you've,
Fair enough.
Yeah. So
Okay. So did I manage to recover? What did we have? There was 5 or 6 horses that went, or 5 or 6 riders that went down, right, or more.
yes, so there are lots of bodies out here on the plains, but they are far away now. They will get up and start running around, but are they... I would ask if they're seriously your problem at this point. That's that.
No, I was more. I just want to know how many horses I collected.
4.
4?
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, more horses, more horses.
Yeah.
I would still say we lash the bodies to the carts and get rid of them. We clean up our own waste.
Yeah, I mean, more zombies out there is just bad news for everybody. So if we can get the outrider bodies, I'd probably use the horses to just kind of lash them to their horses and have the horses drag the corpses over to the wagon. Then we can chuck them in the wagon.
Yeah.
So we're not wasting energy carrying them back.
Yeah.
Hey, fewer zombies is fewer zombies.
I mean, true, but it's not like we're gonna be hanging around here forever. We get to the depot of corpses. I guess you two do. I guess I fucking just became a bandit.
Yeah. You embraced the bandit life that you didn't know you needed.
I mean, I thought you were going to infiltrate. That's why I was asking you if you can find out, if they know anything about the zombies, because that's what I assumed your plan was.
Yeah, that's the plan. But the thing is, I didn't assume we'd meet them that far away. I assumed that we'd ride out and we'd meet them pretty close to the original spot. But apparently, we rode 20 miles, and
Well,
then
it's
I
50
rode
miles
over them.
out.
I mean, we're not there yet. So the question is, where the hell am I actually going, and is there a way back? At this point, the only way I see actually of coming back is taking over the place and the bandits.
Well, I assume there's going to be another raid, so
All right,
yeah,
probably.
Just ride along for the next raid and just
Yeah.
blow something
I'm
up.
probably gonna find out if they actually have some involvement with the zombies. If yes, I'm gonna try to probably kill them from the inside at some point. Maybe poison their food so they're less efficient. If they are not, then I honestly still probably need to kill them. But then we don't know where the zombies came from.
Well, I mean, either way, we don't have an outrider problem. So it's a win-win for me.
Let's hope we get to because once we get to the place where they deposit corpses, that's where the Blackcoats are, right? So from there we can board the train and go home.
So there aren't any Blackcoats right now, not at this far into the season, because the passes are closed due to the snow. However, it's where they were digging, so there should be pits for us to deposit bodies in. Is what we're hoping.
So do we just wait till spring in the corpse piles?
Basically, yeah, we're just gonna drop these corpses off and then head back to the town because we can't leave until winter.
I didn't know we'd have to go back to the town afterwards. Damn it.
Yeah.
I thought we'd get to the pits and then it's back on the black train.
No, the train doesn't run because the passes are blocked.
Okay. Well.
All right, I'm back.
That's correct, right? Dean, the passes are blocked right now, so there's no train running.
Yes. So, the scene calms down as you guys start to trundle along, and Robert comes over to you, Sangun, and says, "Where the fuck's Dennis? I thought he was scouting behind."
Infiltrating would be more apt description. He's hoping to see if they have any information on these new zombies.
Oh, you mentioned something
And-
like that. I didn't think he was actually going to do it.
He's a strong-willed boy.
He just nods and goes, "Uh-huh." He just says, "Right, well, I suggest we carry on."
You know, infiltration is kind of second nature to him.
So, let's skip to Dennis. After a few hours riding, Dennis, they still haven't noticed you, and you can actually start to make small talk. You know, people don't. You are getting the big sense that the guy who's leading this raiding party isn't the big boss, right? He's just some guy who's leading this particular raiding party. And so the guys in this raiding party don't really know each other. There's been picked out from the bunch of raiders. So, you know, you're making small talk as you go along, and they seem to be kind of upset and worried that the boss will, like, crucify them for failing, essentially. But at the same time, you know, there are raiding parties all over the place now, and you know, you look at you figured out that there was, do an intelligence check, and we do a mind check, just straight mind check, and perception. Add perception to it.
I still don't have perception, so still just mind.
Okay. So okay.
Oh, I
Okay.
don't know, need nothing.
So you can at least tell that there were 15 riders here. You know, there are now around 8, but you were told by Robert that there were 20 to 30, to maybe even 40 to 50, right? So you find it very unlikely that they're sending random war parties that you know, number almost half of their warriors, right? So
Yeah, so there's probably a lot of people.
Either they're on the last legs and this is desperation, and you're going to come back to a camp that has 3 people in it, or Robert was greatly, you know, underestimating the numbers of these guys. So, when you do come to the encampment, you come around through a snowdrift, and you can see there's a great bone rib cage that is essentially...
Can I maybe try in the small talk?
Yeah.
Try to, like, listen in to find about, like, the organization of like how it is organized inside the gatekeepers.
You can, unless you want to get there and look for yourself first.
Well, the thing is, if I get there first and I know nothing about the place, I could get myself in trouble. So that's why I would want to listen in and try to find out how to like better be one of the boys, I guess.
Okay. We're gonna take some. This would be mind and. Let's have a look.
You do like skullduggery or sneakery?
Yeah, I'm gonna do skullduggery. Mind and skullduggery. Let's go with that.
Didn't you have some of that?
I did have some skullduggery.
Yeah, you do. Look at those 6s. Look at
All
those 6s.
So, you manage to go ahead and talk to him, and I will do the rest.
Oh man, that really went badly. What do you think was in that shipment?
He shrugs and goes, "How the fuck should I know? We're just sent out here to bring stuff back to home base." Like, oh, yeah, right. Where'd you get that fucking horse?
I don't mean where. From a previous raid. Against those people from that Town. What's it called?
All right, yeah.
Good
yeah.
mare.
Yeah, I mean...
Anyway, I think I glimpsed what was actually being carried.
Oh, I?
I think they're transporting corpses.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Scouts are going to get murder on this one. No, they told us it was a tax shipment or something, going up towards the Blackcoats. Fucking hell.
But But there aren't any Blackcoats in the winter anyway, are there?
Yeah, they do winter up here. Normally, the ones who are a bit too old or infirm for regular service, they go on the black train. You know what I mean? And then the ones who are been naughty little boys, they're the ones who are doing the mining of the Ferrite and giving it to the older lads to take back into the Dominion. You know what I mean? But I only know that because I'm in with the Bosch, and he just like tapped his nose a few times.
Alright, mining. So that does sound like winter is the perfect time to raid the mines if they're understaffed.
The boss knows him like the back of his hand. You know what I mean? He'll lead us over there. Don't you worry. As soon as we kick out these Tombstone people or get them to join us, one of the two, we'll be down there and we'll get that raid done, and then hopefully we'll get the great.
No, let's get those bastards. They're just causing us trouble no matter where we go.
Yeah. I know, mate. I know. Since the
You just need.
since the
You
dragon
just need to.
since the dragon since that heist went tits up, the boss has been a bit, shall we say, less wanting to get in bed with his former colleagues, if you know what I mean.
The boss was one of the Blackcoats?
Yeah. Well, you didn't know?
I mean, I'm pretty new here. I was one of the escapees of the Black Train when I was picked up.
Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, anyway, yeah, he was, a few years ago. I had a run in with someone else. Well, as far as I know, he had a mistress, right? Now, this mistress was of, shall we say, the crimson drinking persuasion, you know? And
Scary. So a vampire.
Yeah. So anyway, the boss was asked to take her out, you know, prove his loyalty, you know what I mean? She killed a lot of people, I don't know, something like that. And he refused, and then he was here, essentially. But then he broke away from where he was supposed to be, in the mines, and now he's here.
So, is he with his mistress?
Don't know, not seen her.
Must be a scary man. Scary man.
He's
I definitely want to be on his side.
He's don't cross him. You know what I mean? I've seen him do some things that are not natural. You know.
Won't happen. Don't worry about that.
He says anyway. We'll be there in a minute. You stick with me. He sticks his hand out and goes, "I'm Bob."
Barry.
Bob and Barry, won't we make a good team? And he just like spits into the floor and just like keeps trotting on. You come around a snowdrift, and you can see that there are, it looks like a huge rib cage has been opened up to the sky, and you're thinking, oh right, that looks, you know, it looks like the size of a fucking aircraft hangar. You know, it's huge. And at the front of this thing, there is a draconic skull, a dragon skull, open-mouthed. And you guys trot through that into the camp. And the camp is, you know, like maybe like 30 to 40 tents. You know, people walking around. You're doing the maths in your head, and you're thinking there must at least be like 80 to 90 riders here. Like this is, you know, and you can actually see. The boss's tent is over at the end. It is daubed in black, which is illegal in Dominion lands, of course. Which gets your hackles up a little bit, considering who you actually work for, and you have some loyalty to them. But yeah, like Bob says, I'm gonna go to latrine. Do you want to join? Are you all right? I'll meet you in the bar if you want a bit later on. It's that tent down there. Well, you know where it is. Fuck's sake. I'll see you in a minute. And he turns his horse around and like trots away.
Okay, so this seems generally like a nice place. I would probably just wander around looking around for now, and if someone asks me, I would say that not wanting to face the boss considering how the raid went or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm just stalling because I don't want to meet the supervisor or just catch attention or something.
Okay, so you're just looking around.
Yeah, I just try to pretend like I'm someone who thinks he fucked up and doesn't want to be confronted over it.
Okay. So you're just like keeping your head down and mooching about, doing your own thing. Okay. Eventually, you see the leader of the raid in front of you, and about 30, 40 yards away in front of the black tent. And the black tent comes open, and you see a lustrous woman with long black locks walk out, and she looks at him sort of like half amused, and behind her a large gentleman, looks rake thin, about 6'2", 6'3", walks out, and he exchanges words with the leader of this war party, and eventually the vampire woman walks over to him, as strokes the side of his face as if, saying, it's okay, like you'll be forgiven and all that. And she drinks him dry, like right there, just bites into his neck and just drains him of blood. And you can see the smell of that. You can smell it on the air from where you are. The smell of that almost knocks you over. Like, it's so intoxicating and wonderful as a feeling. And you can almost sense the growing power within her every single time she does this. As you know, draining people's kind of like heroin to a vampire, right? You get more, but opposite. So you get more powerful the more you do it. And so she's way out of your league. You're like a predator noticing an apex predator just walking
like
around.
Like a house cat seeing a tiger, I guess.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, fuck that, And something else interesting happens. The leader, in his robes, walks forwards and outstretches his hand and whispers a few words, and his eyes roll back into his head. And suddenly, the drained body twitches and begins to get up, and goes and walks itself out of the camp. And where you see where he's walking, he's actually walking to where several hundred people are just standing in the snow, just like looking around, just looking around.
Just a lot of undead.
And he says, I don't give a fuck where you go, what you do. If you want to survive this winter, you will serve me, and you will do it in one of two ways: alive or dead. Stick with me, boys, and you'll have all the white money you need. And he flicks his robes and walks back into the tent with his mistress in tow.
Do they have any explosives here?
Do a perception check, so just a mind check for you.
Two sixes.
Okay. You do see that there is a stash of dynamite, yes. It's probably used for clearing blocks and boulders and things like that.
So I just see that I'm generally probably not in a good situation. And I don't have a way of sending back a message either, from what I understand. If I like clapped like the horse, would it find its back way alone to like? If I like glued a message to the horse and it ran away, would it find its way back?
It's either gonna go to Tombstone or the group, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the question, because right, but I can't write either. Right, Dennis is not completely blind, but mostly blind, so I guess he'd draw a drawing of like vampire lady, necromancer, and a lot of people, and some of them have like a blue heart, which is like dead, and some of them have like a red heart, which is living, and it's like,
Got his little box of crayons.
I guess that's like, I guess the quest. If there's no colors, you'd probably do it
with that perception roll. With that perception roll, actually, you do see the leader is walking around as men, and like he does seem quite liked You know what I mean? Like when he comes back out again.
Yeah.
You do notice that he's eating a pear, and you do see that he's got a rather gorgeous silver dagger that he's chopping the pear up with, and he's skewing the pear and eating it off this dagger.
Oh, wait, so he stole our stuff but left us alive?
Maybe.
Huh. Maybe he's not a bad guy after all. Even with the necromancy and stuff. I guess I'll leave the crayon drawing for now, maybe be. Like, they know I went to the infiltration place, and it's not like the horse who showed them the way back to get here. So I think at this point I'll just try to infiltrate the
if you
the
wanted to do
organization.
that seemed like an okay idea to me. Like, if you wanted to do that, I mean, the one thing I would say is that they're under the impression that there are about 20 riders out here somewhere.
Yeah. So
Then
I just like if I drew a lot of stickman figures, you'd probably figure out that it's more like 200 dead people and 90 living people or something like
that's
that.
fine. That's fine. And you do like the little description of the two people you saw, I guess, and just
Yeah, like a drawing of a vampire lady and of a necromancer man with a black coat specifically.
Okay, cool, awesome. Okay, so you put that in the saddlebag, and are you just going to take it to the edge of the camp and slap its arse so it goes running away?
Yeah,
Okay, off
basically.
it goes.
Possibly make other horses also run away, like route them. So because one, it exhausts the resources a little bit, and on the other hand, it makes it less suspicious that this one will be caught.
I am going to need 3 skullduggery rolls, and let's do swiftness
Okay.
as well. Swiftness and skullduggery.
So 6 rolls in total, or like added?
Just do
No,
swiftness
no.
and skullduggery, whatever you've got, and add them together.
Okay,
And roll it.
so swiftness added to skullduggery, not swiftness added to mine. I got you.
Yeah.
So 46. 46. 36. Ooh, that's
That's
2
not
successes,
terrible.
2 successes, and 1 success.
Okay, so you managed to get rid of a few horses as well. So you like go into the stables and you know you open the door and just like slap the arse of a few of them, and they go running out into the night. And as you slip out the back, you do hear the stable master going crazy, like furious. And everyone, a few people like start running out into the night to try and catch these horses. A few of them on horseback, but hopefully they won't catch your wonderful nag as it goes running off into the night because you let it go about 10 minutes ago. So, let's go back to the main group. So, as the main group, you find you're near the mounds now. And whilst you're there, you come across a very strange sight. At one of the mounds that's nearby, basically the mound next door, there's a small group who are unloading their dead. And you can see around this group there is a smorgasbord of bodies. And these bodies, when you get closer, they seem to be of the raiders. They're wearing very similar armor. That's not the strange thing. The strange thing is that whilst a lot of these people look normal, there is one who seems to be their leader, who is telling people where to go. He was wearing what I can only describe as Shaolin robes, with a beautiful sword at his waist.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I mean,
Yes.
come on.
Okay. Do you know? I'm guessing you know who Splinter is. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is basically Splinter. So he is a bipedal humanoid rat. Think of a Skaven from Warhammer, but not disgusting, right? And he looks a lot more serene and a lot more, he looks like he's, and he's giving the last rites to a few of these corpses as they're put in. A few of them are wriggling. The ones that are wriggling, he just gives them the rites quickly and then moves away. And as you guys head on in, he nods to you all, and just like he walks over and says he walks over and just says is nice to see fellow travelers on the road, and just like nods.
Sanger nod along, I'd say. Yeah, it's been an interesting winter so far.
So he just says he just nods and says yeah. There's you need a hand?
I was just going to ask, where is he from? And I'll say we came from Tombstone.
Oh, he just shrugs and says well, people like me aren't exactly welcome in normal places. So I'm from here, around, underneath, mainly.
Yeah.
Underneath, interesting.
Well, we were not going to object to any help.
No,
we've got a few dead, and we've picked up a couple more, and a gesture towards the bandit on the way.
Yeah,
like that.
So he turns around and makes a motion to a few of the lads who were with him, and they go, "Oh, do we have to? I don't like it out here." And he goes, "Listen, I pay your wages, and I say we're going to help these people, and you're going to do it because you do exactly what the fuck I say. Do you understand?" And they just like nod, and they get down and they go over and start like unloading the corpses on your wagon.
Yeah, Sangern's, and the scouts here are also doing it. We're not going to just, sit back and watch these guys do it.
Okay. So he just nods and says, "So, where you come from?"
So yeah, we've come from Tombstone, about 50 miles out. Have you guys run into any slightly different risen?
He turns around and he says, "A few, yeah. When we were on the way here, didn't seem to want to go down. These guys, but
They also
he pats his blade at his side and goes, Amarakis was able to do the job."
Can I take a closer look at his blade? Is it like sheathed, or is it like bare on the side?
It's sheathed, but his hand's on it. You can tell he's a practiced swordsman because he's not grabbing the hilt with his left hand. He's grabbing below it, the scabbard, so it's ready to be held there whilst he draws the blade out. It looks like a katana, but very long. It looks like it's something that you could use in one hand easily, Sangun, but like,
but most other people, no.
Most other people would be able to use it with two hands, yeah. And so the fact that this guy can actually use it at all says a lot about what he's, his strength and the way he can move.
I would nod towards it and say, "May I?" Just take a look at it.
He just gives you a very weary look and says, "Son, you don't just ask to see a warrior's sword. That's like asking him to get out his,
The way I grew up was probably a bit different from yours."
He says, he just chuckles and goes, "I'll say, yeah." He says, "In any case, the answer's no."
I am going to perk up and say, I think I have a theory about your rather more animated, risen.
Oh yeah.
Did they explode when you hit them with your sword?
Yeah. How did you know that?
Well,
following us back there?
No. We encountered a few, and we seem to note it from a different substance, but I guess it's the same effect. We sprayed them with... Oh, go on.
I was going to nod to Filiberto, just kind of like Ferrite, right?
Well, yeah. Or anything pure. Something pure and clean, which evidently your weapon... I guess I'll look at the scabbard and say, evidently you keep that in very well maintained.
Yeah.
more than your average common blacksmith in this hellhole.
He
And
just
I'll
nods.
just say no offense, and I'll just be like nod to the lads and be like, no offense, lads.
Those lads wouldn't know one end of the blade from the other. But yeah, I guess you're right. Gets the job done anyway.
Yeah. Dare I ask where you acquired that blade?
No.
Do you know anything about its construction?
He just nods and goes, yeah.
Is it ferrite?
He's looking at you very suspiciously now, and he's like,
I'm just gonna put my hand up, kind of between the two. It's like he's like this. He's a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
it's like if he goes to my sword friend, he'll be a half a scientist.
I wouldn't worry too much about that.
I don't want your sword, but I have a theory as to. It seems to be that ferrite seems to repel these creatures.
Right.
It seems to have a particularly destructive effect on them. Anything that's pure also or clean seems to have a similar effect, but I think ferrite seem to be the strongest.
He nods and says, well,
that blade will keep you safe, is all I'll say.
Yeah, she's seen me through a lot. He says,
I'm sure she has.
He says,
I would recommend, if you run across another horde, distilled water tends to be rather effective.
Mm.
He nods and says, all right. Well, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go and say goodbye to somebody.
An old friend?
He just nods and says, you could say that, yeah. And he just walks away and goes to a mound and leans over and prays over this, over a body. Looks like similar size to him. And he gets out a tonto. So it looks like a smaller version of the sword that he's got.
Mm.
And he lays it into the thing and he says, "Take it down, boys." And they just start lowering this person into the mounds. And you see, this mound isn't a mound; it's a grave, and it's not very deep. So, when he turns around and he sees your look, and he says, the people don't come back, as in people like me. Only your kind seem to."
Interesting. How not? Then why are you burying him out here if he doesn't need to be? Why bury him this far out? If he'll die anyway and he won't be resurrected, why are we burying him? Why are you burying him here?
He just shrugs and says,
in this wasteland.
He shrugs and says, a lot of our friends are out here. Yeah, she'd be happier here. Less disturbed.
Really? By the squirms of the risen?
He looks back to where he buried her and he's like, I don't see, she's not near any mounds.
I thought we were not far from a mound.
Yeah, you are, but it's not. Yeah. He hasn't put her in there with them. It's
separate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dare I ask how she died?
No.
Or what she died of?
No.
Okay. I understand. Well, I understand, and I guess I will. Yeah. Do you mind helping us dispose of our bodies, shall we say, or your men?
Well, they've been doing that, right?
Yeah, they're already helping.
So I guess I'll thank for that, and I'll just I guess I'll just pull out a bottle of just a small hip flask or something, and just stand there, more respectfully.
He just nods and says, he says to you both, he says, so where are you guys going when you're done with this?
Well, I believe we're heading back to Tombstone, unless...
Tombstone for now.
Yeah, we'll need to gather up some more water supplies on our way back, but yeah, we'll be heading back toward Tombstone.
Says, I know a decent spring. Well,
Good.
if you want some company on the road, he just shrugs.
Yeah, sure. There seem to be a lot of bandits out on the roads today, in the past few weeks.
He just says, yeah. And he clambers onto his horse, and like says, well, we should be done here in an hour or two. I'm gonna go scout around. And he just turns around his horse and just thunders away. And one of the lads looks up and just says, from one of the mounds and says, I think you like you two.
Oh. Nice.
How can you tell?
Yeah.
Sangard says that in kind of a joking way. Because, Sangard himself is like that a lot.
He just shrugs and says, well, he can be like that, don't worry.
Mm. And I'm just going to ask him, and what hellhole did he drag you out of?
Well, in general, like he like pats down his hands and climbs up the hole.
Yeah.
Fill her in, lads. In general, all from all around. Like his people, well, we call them ratters, and they don't seem to mind it. But yeah, his people are around, mainly underground. I've even seen them in the Dominion, but like always alleyways, sewers, things like that. No, nowhere near polite society, you understand. But no, they're good folk. They're good folk.
Mm. Yeah, no, I was asking where he was found. Where I was asking the worker about where they were where this guy's recruiting from.
Yeah, as he said from all around. We're like roadkill,
I see. Yeah.
He just picks us up off the road, puts him in his cart, heals us up, and then we help people when we can.
And here you are in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Well, you gotta dispose of your dead somewhere. Sorry, mother, but you gotta dispose of your dead somewhere.
Now, do you work with? Have you seen any Blackcoats around?
Friend, there are always Blackcoats in the Driftwood, all old, grizzled, and not very happy. We tend not to cross them, you know what I mean?
Interesting. I would have thought in a mound like this, surely we'd see at least one of them.
Why?
Some evidence that
this is a civilian mound. The Blackcoats don't really use it.
Oh, I thought they actually supervise a few.
They dig them for us, sure. Yeah.
Or
at least they
help. Are they? I guess they must be further up the mountain.
Yeah, they're about 150 leagues that away is the nearest outpost, I think. And he points to the far horizon.
Fair enough. And I'm just going to point up and say, you had any problems with storms? Because that looks quite a nasty one. Or does that not seem to come down there too often?
He says,
since we point out the purple storm or whatever.
He shrugs and says, a few, I guess. I guess a few. And then he just says, yeah, we tend to stay a few steps ahead of them, if you know what I mean.
Nah.
So, let's go to Dennis. Dennis, what else are you trying to do over there in your...
I mean, at this... Like, immediately I would do nothing, because it would be too suspicious if too many things started going wrong right after the raiding party I was in came back. So, the modus operandi for now would be lying low and scouting out the situation. Is there some sort of medical bay, or do they just kill everyone who doesn't seem to be useful?
No, they do patch up the guys. You get a sense that the rumors around the camp was that the guy who was killed was a feckless idiot anyway, and needed to go because he was going to be a liability. But no, they are patching people up. Like, it's not as if they're just leaving them to rot or anything.
I mean, to be fair, he did let you into the camp.
Yeah. Although they're taking all comers, definitely.
Okay, so for now I would just keep around like what's going on. Alternatively, if there's someone who's like in a coma or something and just an easy target who nobody's watching, I would probably try to feed on them, but that's about it. Otherwise, try to make friends, find out about the situation, find out if, because the guy has a good reputation, but what about his girlfriend, the vampire one, the nice one, the big tiger?
So you don't find out anything about her, and you think that's by design. Either people don't want to talk, especially to someone who's new about it, or they don't know anything. But you're not really finding anything out, which is, surprising, but also not surprising, if you know what I mean.
Okay. I just try to become well liked, I guess. Try to do various odd jobs if they need blacksmithing work, especially guns, considering I apparently am good at it now, even though I don't use guns, I'm good at making them.
So, you're there all night essentially, and the next morning there is a commotion with this man, the leader, coming out without his vampire chick. And he just calls out, "Get your fucking asses out of bed, saddle up, Tombstone burns today." And there's a few ragged cheers go up, but as you start to notice, at least 50, 60, 70, 80, and then 90, and then maybe well over 100 people start gathering around him and start cheering.
Yeah, I joined them enthusiastically.
Okay, so
that's a great time for dynamite.
So
yeah.
Back towards the other. So you guys are now. You spent an uncomfortable night near the mounds, and you're getting ready to go now, and all of a sudden you're making last minute checks to saddles and things like that. All of a sudden, a lone nag neighs and whinnies and waltzes into the camp near the mounds.
I mean, Sanger could probably smell Dennis off of it, right?
Yeah, you can tell it's Dennis's. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd go over to it, check to see if there's blood or anything.
No, there's no
on
blood.
it.
No.
So now the question is there anything on the horse, on a pack or something?
No. There is a saddlebag, usually. I'm guessing you're going to check that. Cause,
I'm going to check the saddlebag.
In there you see a drawing of... It's essentially... So he's crossing off days. It's like that. But loads of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the way down. And a big exclamation. And then... Once he's gone to nearly 100 tally marks, he's got several exclamation marks next to it, and then next to it there's a what looks like a stick figure of an evil looking dude in a black coat, and next to him is this vampire woman with comically large breasts, just huge fucking tits. There's drawn on, and in it there's a couple of other exclamation marks next to it.
Maybe some arrows.
And arrows, yeah.
Yeah. I guess evil booby vampire lady. I guess I'm gonna look at Sangan and go, maybe your girlfriend?
And
maybe an ex-girlfriend of yours?
In terms of this being a TV show called Blackcoats, that would be the best way to cut off the episode. That's just the best way to do it.
So just Sanger giving so much side eye.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up. Yeah. So yeah, that'll be the end of this session. So, what are we doing? No XP this time around because not a lot happened. And I don't want to give you more every single session because you'll end up so overpowered. But there will be next session though. So basically, anyone does anything next session, you will get another level up bit of XP. So, and yeah, in terms of the furries thing, yeah, that's why I use rats, because rats generally aren't furries because they're not
Oh, I don't want to send you all the rat furry porn I stumbled upon.
Wait, why did you stumble upon rat furry porn?
Yeah,
we don't need any of it. We don't need any
so
of
much.
Oh, I don't want any of this. I want no part of
this. You should
add
this denial to the recording.
Yeah, I didn't know any of this. So yeah, I mean, whatever floats your boat, be up. If you like that kind of stuff, that's all on you, man.
But I don't. There's just a thread on TG app with it, which is people wanted to post Skaven, but then people started spamming
Look.
red hentai.
Well,
didn't-
Enjoy your obscure subreddits.
Well,
Jesus.
I
Jesus
like
Christ.
Skaven, and I've always thought, well, it'd be really cool to like make them like noble and not like fucking evil. Because I think rats get a bad rep, so I was like, yeah, let's try and make them.
Rats are awesome.
Yeah, let's try and make them.
I have had several friends who've owned pet rats.
Yeah,
They're smart.
yeah, they are. They're incredibly smart.
I also have to feed rats to my snake, so that's a little awkward.
Oh well. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. Have a good evening. Really good session, and I'll speak to you next time.
Take care, man.
Have a good one. Bye now. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye. Right, thank you very much for watching Blackcoats Season 2, Session 2. Really enjoyable, really cool. We'll see you next week where we're going to carry on with Session 3 and we'll see what the hell happens with Tombstone because all the shit is about to hit the proverbial fan. I'll see you then.